After 1 year of only feeling sad, feeling left alone, feeling not having solutions, I got a psychologist, which was very nice. I was going there with my shopping list, with the things I got scared of, can't handle. And I do get less scared now, and I do less often get in a shock kind of mode when people give you their anger because of nothing, because they want to sit on some pedestal. Why is it me having to live scared? Why is it me having to be putting myself down, little, hiding in a corner? Because that's not doing the trick. Yeah, that's not fun.
Because you're very sensitive.
Yes. But how can that work together? Staying sensitive, and you say pain pierces through the heart, so it goes in and goes out. Well, that doesn't seem to do the trick with me.
It may still affect yourself. When someone is in the use of emotion, and you're in the presence of that, and that has you being somewhat afraid, or if you're not afraid anymore, but it still leaves you in your own interior in a state of shock. For someone who is very sensitive, that's more than just understandable. And it is a lot for you to work through.
But is it possible to work through?
Not in a short amount of time.
I reckon.
That may take you a long time. You would need to develop a really different kind of self to be in the presence of the misuse of emotion and to not have a shock within, or to not go into shock in some way within. So as long as the shock is occurring, or you're even being somewhat afraid, don't judge it as being something that's bad or inappropriate.
In the shock, I'm in shock, but after the shock, I do accept that it is like that, because I can't change it now. Still, I would wish I would have a more clear line I could follow to one day this would be over. Nice idea.
For you not to be affected by that, you would need to have a really different kind of self, a kind of self that is rooted in a beingness that has nothing to do with yourself. That takes a lot of maturity, and it takes a lot of time. To help you understand it, when people use emotion, on the level of emotion, it works. It does accomplish something. On the level of emotion, when emotion is being used by anyone, it's right. On its own, it's right. Not that it is actually right, but the use of emotion is within itself always right. You cannot reason with emotion.
True.
Emotion on its own is absolutely right, even though it's wrong. When someone speaks to you and they're using any measure of emotion at all in making their point, then that use of emotion establishes the rightness of what they're saying, whether what they're saying is reasonable or not. that use of emotion works on your emotional body. If it didn't work, then people wouldn't use it anymore. Without even understanding it rationally, everybody deep within their own emotional body knows it works. So then it's used. The fact that it affects you so much as it does means that you're really sensitive. It isn't for you to move past that sensitivity. You're better off to keep the sensitivity and be affected by the shock, or even be somewhat afraid, than to overcome your own sensitivity. Keep your sensitivity. And like learning within it, like realizing within it, like learning what is actually occurring when people are using their emotion to make a point. The use of emotion is a use of power.
Yes.
And basically, it is usually a misuse of power.
What can I do in my day when I get into shock? Then I am in shock. So then there's not a lot of control, or you say I have to get acquainted to a different kind of self. Could you lay that out a little bit?
You would need to develop a different kind of self, which means that within your own self, you would need to develop. You would need to mature. You would need within yourself to become seasoned in being rooted and grounded in something other than just yourself. Being rooted and grounded in a heart understanding. Having heart understanding in something, in a situation, gives you stability in the situation. It gives you stability in yourself. It isn't just to have a heart understanding in a situation, but for you to have a heart understanding in a situation over a period of time that has, from within such heart understanding, a development within yourself. You become a self not just of sensitivity, but a self of real understanding. Understanding that has beingness in it, that has an entire root of beingness in it. So you'll be able to sustain other people's use of emotion without being the same way, or without going into shock. Don't view the shock as being a bad thing. Being in shock doesn't mean that you're not there. It means that you are really there, but in such a way that you're not able to cope with in yourself. In your going into shock, there is a sweetness of heart in that.
Yes, there is.
It means that you haven't shut down your delicateness.
What is that?
For anyone, a very sweet thing. For a man, even more of a sweet thing. A visible sensitivity. A delicateness means that you register things little things. That the little things don't go by you. You're aware of them. And that as a self, you have relationship with the little things around you. If you go into shock because of other people's use of emotion, it means that you haven't shut down your delicateness.
Is it like I haven't shut down the little Simon? That little boy which liked all the small things? Do you mean that?
It's what makes you adorable.
Which is not helping a lot, I have to say. What is this heart understanding you talk about?
Having heart understanding means that you're understanding something of your situation from within a depth of being. So it isn't just understanding something better in your mind, but it's having the kind of understanding that has warmth of heart in it. That from within your heart, you have a depth of seeing. And from within that depth of seeing, there's a depth of relating to the circumstance in a way that is greater than what is just simply occurring in the circumstance. That means that your mind and your heart together are through real experience, larger than the circumstance.
It always takes like an hour or two to get over the shock after what. So yesterday I was in a supermarket, and in Denmark they're selling always half-rotten lettuce. I've been bearing that now for 5 years, and yesterday I went to the woman and I asked her, "This lettuce is cut 5-6 days ago. Don't you have a fresh one?" And she was just, "No, in our shop there's nothing older than 4 or 5 days." And she was totally blocking me out. That's nothing normal. It is normal crap behavior of people. But it again just gave me a little shock, as usual, because I can't work with that. You know, when the person is totally away and just the emotional bunker is showing up. And, you know, it's fine, I go in shock, whatever, you know. Better being in shock and being a sensitive person than not. But it is like, it takes me 1 hour, 1.5, 2 hours, and I'm at home or whatever. And then slowly it comes that there actually wasn't really a reason for a shock. That is just like, she's having a bad day, whatever, kids raging around the house, bills not paid. Of course you get pissed off and you tend to put your crap on other people. Just very normal. And other people are always like, they're having the right answer in the right moment. You don't give me whatever they would say to that person in the supermarket. And it always takes me 1.5 hours, and then of course that person is away, and the moment is away, and there's nothing to fix there anymore. So how can Simon now smarten up to grab that moment, to work with that moment when it's there, and to not being angry 1.5 and frustrated and sad for 1.5 hours later, and then having to drop the whole thing because it's gone.
You don't have the kind of self yet that is able to naturally do that. The way that you're dealing with it will, in time, change the kind of self you have so that you won't be as affected as you are now in such circumstances. You will also be attracting such circumstances to yourself because you are safe for others to blow up at.
Yeah.
Those who are practiced in the misuse of emotion will read you in a second.
Yes, they do.
And see that you're the safe one to unload their stuff on. If you'd be more like she is, or she was, she would have been much more careful because she would know that exactly the same kind of fire is going to come back at her. And with you, she sees that this isn't the case. So she feels safe to unload on you. So all of her energy goes out of her and it goes into you, and it takes you time to digest it and work it through.
Yeah.
This will keep happening to you because people will read you. It's unavoidable.
Always has been.
And in it, you can enjoy learning. Every time such a thing occurs, you can be evolving a little bit.
That's a good thing. A little bit is good.
If you overcome such situations in a way that has you overcoming your own sensitivity, and you end up becoming calloused in your effort to cope within such situations, and you begin to take on more of a calloused ego, then you will have lost the best part of yourself. What you have in yourself is a loveliness. It is really worth taking care of and really worth learning in the midst of. Others will do to you what they do. That will continue. Your dear acceptance of that is sort of how things are in this world, gives you a heart understanding. Nobody needs to change for you to be able to learn. You don't have a hard heart. Really like learning in the midst of not having a hard heart. There are many others that have been like you are in yourself, that don't have a hard heart, but then have suffered the shock of the misuse of emotion from others. And then out of the effort to cope, with such shock and misuse have hardened within and closed within and have overcome a sensitivity in themselves, and then have been able to cope. But coping because of a callous in their hearts, not coping because of an actual development in themselves, not coping because of an actual development of evolution, the evolution of awareness, sweetly landing in the heart. You haven't gone that way. It's a lovely thing that you haven't gone that way.
To make things more complicated, from us of 2 weeks ago, my future is very open again. I've no job, I'm not bound to this country, not to another country, no kids, no wife. I'm having a couple of ideas, but I think my mind is discussing too much what I should and should not do, getting a job, can I do that job, will I handle the stress, blah, 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 blah. And I would like to get it right. How can I choose the right next step? If that is going on a journey, taking a new job, what kind of job? A hard job as an electrician, technician, sort of bum job serving beer in a restaurant. You know, there's so many things.
It won't make much of a difference.
It won't make a difference?
It won't make much of a difference. For you to recognize the value of heart understanding, that makes, in anything that you do, an enormous difference. You don't really see what kind of lovely self you have. By the time that you really see it for what it is, by the time that you gain real understanding of it, you will have suffered a lot of misuse. Yourself is safe for others to misuse. Those who do misuse will recognize how safe you are in a moment. They won't even have to think to see it. Those who misuse have an intuition developed to quickly read with very fine antenna who to misuse and who to not misuse. Which self is safe and what self isn't safe.
Yeah, they are safe and I am not.
That is the kind of world that we live in. Your not being safe is only true on one level, and it's not the level that matters the most. It is a rather superficial level in yourself that you are affected. When you are affected on that level in yourself, that does cause a discomfort and a suffering. But it isn't a fundamental discomfort.
It's enough discomfort.
Just enough for you to have to work with something deeper within. Just enough kind of pressure for you to realize the deeper within than what the circumstance is. Just enough for you to enjoy learning such pressure does help you learn.
Yeah, it keeps the focus on the pressure.
And when you don't, then even within that, you'll learn. A delicateness of heart always learns. Delicateness of heart never stops learning. It is what enables yourself to develop and evolve. Without delicateness of heart, you would become hard and calloused. You would overcome difficulty through a development of callous. That's overcoming by hardening, overcoming by separating. If you don't separate within, then everything that pokes at your delicateness of heart is going to be bringing out your own delicateness. You won't experience it as delicateness. You'll experience it as shock. But that's also because you're not understanding yourself. You're understanding more of the circumstance than you are understanding yourself. For you to gain understanding of yourself, is going to require suffering on your part. You're not easily going to be working toward an understanding of yourself without there being pressure. You're not here in this life to be comfortable more than anything. You're not here in this life to be without pressure, without a measure of suffering. The circumstance of being in this world is a circumstance of complex difficulty that will be brought to bear on yourself and on your mind, on your emotions, on your will. It will all be pressure on the kind of heart you have. What you are being within that will either be increasing your own delicateness of heart, or it will decrease it, and you'll harden in your heart. You'll close down in your heart, and you'll develop the kind of self that won't be affected by others anymore. And you will have lost the best part of yourself.
Yes, I know that. I never want to lose little Simon. He is the fun part. But when little Simon gets hurt, I tend to not wanting to go outside, not meaning to, I can rather spend a day at home feeling hurt than going shopping the milk. And then it gets better and worse in times. What can I do so little Simon, even though he has to suffer, has interest again in going out and
By having understanding, real seeing and fundamental acceptance of the kind of world that you're living in.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes
It doesn't need to work.
sometimes Simon likes to go out and see what endeavors are out there. It's so often Simon doesn't want to go out and see any of this beautiful world because he still is hurt of the last time.
If you don't harden within, you will not stop going out. If you don't harden within, you will very sweetly like going out. So as soon as you get over your shock, you'll be sweetly back on your feet again. Start realizing the value of your own evolution as awareness. And from that, realizing the value of yourself developing, the development of yourself. If you're realizing those two values, then you'll have a heart understanding of okayness in having the kind of self you have and being in the kind of world that this world is. You'll be evolving as awareness and developing as a self, while becoming even more delicate at heart. You will be fulfilling why you're here in this world. It matters more than your own enjoyment or your own experienced sense of well-being socially. That will give you a greater experience in your well-being socially, and will also enable you to have a finer, deeper enjoyment in having a self and having yourself in what kind of world this is. When the value of your own evolution and the value of the development of yourself exceeds your value of enjoyment and surface well-being in yourself, then your enjoyment and your surface well-being in yourself will increase. If you are fundamentally okay with the kind of difficulties that you have, you'll have less difficulty in them. You'll have an ease of being in the midst of your difficulties. You'll have an ease of being when yourself becomes shocked. You'll have an ease of being in not being able to make the shock go away as quickly as you would like. In all of it, you will become in yourself even lovelier. the value of that loveliness exceeds the loss within the suffering. It makes suffering but an understandable and a small thing. It'll make your own heart bigger than all of the suffering, the difficulty, the discomfort, and the trouble. It isn't your career that matters so much, but to have this kind of heart, to have a value of your own evolution and the development of yourself, to have heart understanding, to have a value, a real value of what is actually lovely in yourself. All of that is worth much more than a choice of career.
Yes.
Concerning careers, you have time to learn. You have, concerning time, a lot of room for realization. You have time to work out what doesn't matter a lot. Your career.
Will the right next steps present themselves? And will I be able to feel which way the heart wants to go?
You might not. And then you'll be making dear mistakes. That you can enjoy learning from. You are going to make mistakes. The way that you are within is what makes the mistakes lovely or not. You are not going to get everything right. For you to get most everything right, you would have a highly evolved awareness and a highly developed self. You don't have that yet. So you are going to do a lot of things that are incorrect.
Yes, so it seems. But will that get better?
Slowly. If you're not in a rush, a little quicker. Enjoy coming into a heart understanding of the kind of self you have and of the kind of world that you're living in. And what is required of you as awareness within your heart to evolve and develop. If you're enjoying the value of that and the learning that is in that, then you will already have it more.
Is there something like a reminder when I have bad times, bad days? Is there something I could do to ease the frustration or to ease the sadness? So how can I shake myself up when I'm in that shock? How can I shake myself up when I get sad? So I do go out and try again.
Write 3 words on a piece of paper and keep it in your pocket. And as soon as there's a little bit of pressure, remember what you've written and like that it's in your pocket. The 3 words are, everything is helping.
I will do that.
In this moment, you have a deeper awareness. You've had this one other time in our conversation. In that deeper awareness, you have a different seeing. What makes it different is not what you're seeing, but that you're seeing from a level that is, to your experience, for you, very uncommon.
Yes, it is.
That awareness, that deeper awareness, is crucial to your evolution as awareness. It's easy to overlook because the change is so subtle. But the value of it is great. Get to know that change of awareness. Get to know that subtle difference, so that the moment it occurs, that you'll immediately recognize it. It will show up for you then within yourself as a completely different signature, a different kind of meaning. When you begin to notice it for what it is, and you really identify its value, then it will no longer be for you a subtle change. It'll be the most significant change for you. It'll be the change of awareness that you'll be most sensitive to. When it is what you're most sensitive to, it will become a real part of yourself. You'll live more for that in yourself. than anything that can please yourself. From that, then, you'll have vision within yourself. You'll have vision of heart. You'll have a vision within that doesn't come from yourself, but that comes from an awareness, a touch of awareness that you know within is deeper than yourself. When you begin to recognize it for what it is, then every time it touches you, it will cause your heart to ache. That ache is of profound value. That ache accomplishes the reconfiguration of yourself. It will change the structure of yourself. It will change the structure of how you think. It'll change the structure of your feeling. It will change the structure of your emotions. You'll begin to be formed differently within. And you'll know that that change comes from what is deeper than yourself, deeper than anything in yourself. It will form within you a profound line of direction. It will become the direction of your whole life. And being awakened to it, you'll value that awareness, that deeper awareness, as subtle as it is. You'll value it more than even your own life. Because when you're in it and you're coming from it, you know that its value is greater than the value of your life. And that such realized value is what gives profound realized value to your life. Begin to notice different, deeper, fine touches of seeing. So fine a touch of seeing that when you notice it, you notice that it's deeper and finer and higher than yourself. Begin to notice such touches of awareness, touches of a much deeper awareness, subtleties of a deeper awareness, the subtlety of a deeper seeing, even if it is just a touch of it. Use your sensitivity to notice it. It will change your orientation within. Your orientation will become of something within that is, by your own knowledge, deeper and greater than yourself. A touch of such awareness within leaves you with a touch of awe within. Use your sensitivity of heart for that, and you'll begin noticing it. And you will have realized profound reason for your being in yourself in this world. A reason that isn't of this world and that isn't of yourself and that is of a much deeper you that you don't understand, but you'll have fine touches of. Tiny touches. That will mean more to you than yourself being affected by someone else's misuse of emotion. And you'll begin to have an eye of grace toward such people. They'll know that they're loved. Without your having done something. They'll see because they can see that you see. And that will be their invitation to come into the deeper within. They will have received the touch that was missing. And they'll know that somehow it is all about a subtlety seen in you that they know within. You will have helped without even trying to. There's a sense to this deeper awareness. It's a subtle sense. Identify the sense of it. Identify the subtle differences in it. Identify that it is different than the kind of awareness that you're accustomed to in yourself. In identifying that difference and valuing that difference, you'll be awakening within to what you actually came into this world for. You'll be realizing it. You'll be recognizing its value. Your purpose in everything that you do. You'll realize is connected to the value of that deeper awareness. And that always matters more than what it is that you're doing. In that becoming sure for you, that will begin to change what it is that you're doing. you'll have the realized resources within that are deeper than yourself, in being able to form what you do, in being able to form yourself. Hurting won't matter much to you anymore. What will matter to you is the value of your own connectedness through a deeper awareness to a reality within that you know the truth of, and that you have almost no understanding of, but that you're dearly fixed on it. And it is that, your awareness in that, your heart in that, that forms yourself and your person and your life. And that nothing takes you from it. Nothing distracts you from it. And that the 3 words in your pocket become profoundly loved words for you.
I will do my best.
You're not going to get everything right. And when you feel that, and when you are thinking that, and when you are really knowing that, you'll remember the note in your pocket. Love, this deeper, subtle awareness. And enjoy being loyal to it. It is your real connection to what's deeper than yourself. It is your real connection to the you within that is deeper than the you in yourself. That will have you being the more of you, the more of you than what is just simply you in yourself, the you that you're most accustomed to. There is more of you within that you have had awareness of, that you have had subtle touches of, that you have come to know as you, a much deeper you than the you in yourself. with its value occupying you. That brings its value into yourself. It will change you in yourself. You'll be getting to know a deeper you. You'll be coming to understand a deeper you. You won't just have awareness of a deeper you. You won't just have access to a deeper awareness within, a deeper touch of that. Your awareness will become rooted in that. There'll be a root to yourself that doesn't come from yourself, but comes from the much deeper within. It is that root that will stabilize yourself in the midst of pressureful circumstances, in the midst of yourself being shocked and troubled. And you'll be identifying with a greater value within that you've realized than what you're experiencing as a self. It's that through which you'll be gaining heart understanding of yourself, of others, how they are, what they are, what kind of world you're in, and how to be the deeper within in relationship with that, in relationship with all of the complexities, with all of the different levels that you'll find in this world. You have already changed much since first sitting there. Your awareness is different. Your seeing is different. You are profoundly different. You're entering levels within that you've not known before. And you're seeing from within them. This is your own acquaintance with profound reality. As awareness, you're living from within even a subtlety of this. that you're knowing within will profoundly change the course of yourself, the purpose of yourself. It will change the course of your whole life. You'll mark such a time as this within as being pivotal to your real and realized evolution. You are a lucky man in this. And if you stay in this, in even a subtlety of this, it will cost you everything. You'll be earning your own higher evolution and earning the development of yourself. That will become much higher than the self that you're accustomed to so far. You'll be earning the deep within. And a beautiful self to match. You will always know that it is to this within that you're called.
Thank you for being so kind. May you have good luck or good wind.